Hell in a Cell Talk Radio, Wednesday nights, available on blogtalkradio.com. I am Double D, the host. This is my co-host, Dan Calachico, the above-average comedian.
You can follow us on Twitter at HIAC Talkradio.com, and you also www.
Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock. Listen to Hell in a Cell Talk Radio.
It is Anthony, the Animal Terrell. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good, man. How's everybody doing over there?
We are doing great. You're, of course, with Dan, and you're also with Omega Squad Chris Green, and we're excited to talk to you. Now, I saw an interview, just to start this thing out, I saw an interview where you had some type of dancing background before you broke into MMA. Just explain how that background possibly helps you on your way to a successful MMA career.
Coordination, man. Footwork, movement, the ability to move. You don't want to be a sitting target, you know, in an actual fight. You want to be able to move, and you want to have the best balance possible to be able to move with a purpose. And you really can't get better coordination and better balance than dancing.
Now, what type of dancing was that? It was a very interesting background, if I recall correctly.
Well, it's no formal training. I just grew up dancing all my life. You know, I've always gravitated toward it. I've always been naturally acrobatic, and, you know, I taught myself how to tumble, you know, flip at a very early age. And I've always been extremely attracted to acrobacy, gymnastics, and all those things. And you know, growing up in my neighborhood, and you know, music played a big part of. It was a big part of our lifestyle in my household alone. You know, moms, dads, all family get-togethers. There was a lot of dancing and stuff going on. So I picked it up very early. Realized how coordinated I was. Realized how much I enjoyed it. I took to it even more as I got older. Once I discovered break dancing and pop locking and all that crazy stuff. And my mind just started to venture more into looking to be perfectionate at it and being universal. So as I got older and I clubbed and I discovered more than one style of dancing, I started to desire to incorporate all forms. So I would look up all types of different forms of dance and incorporate it in my style. So that really made me stand out on the dance scene. Made me pretty well known for it. I mean, I still fancy myself an amazing dancer that I plan on showcasing sometime soon, but not in the cage. But still, you know, just to put it out there, you know, it's a very strong passion of mine, and I owe a lot to it, especially now that it contributes so much to my fighting ability and footwork.
Now, when did you decide to get into, not necessarily mixed martial arts, but when did you decide to get into martial arts training?
Oh, man, I've begged and pleaded and moaned and cried and wept for years as a child to do martial arts. I mean, I can't even relate to anybody who can't or who didn't in some way, shape, or form gravitate towards martial arts when the scene really hit our country. You know, when Bruce Lee and Kung Fu movies, how did you not? What wasn't attractive about that? And you know, that really, you know, with my attraction and love for acrobacy and all those things, I immediately was swooned by that. So I always wanted to do gymnastics. I always wanted to do karate. I always begged and pleaded to those things. So, you know, watching these movies, man, as a kid, I couldn't sit down and watch them. I was in front of them doing everything that I saw on television. I was always fascinated by it. And growing up in tough neighborhoods and, you know, being the oldest of two sisters, I'm a natural protector. You know, you can talk about me. I don't really care. But you're not going to offend or hurt or do anything to anybody beneath me or that I care about. So, you know, I was always a little guy. Fighting came naturally, and Yeah, it was a matter of time, man. I tell people all the time, this thing chose me, man. This thing chose me. This thing had me since birth.
So what takes you from, training in martial arts and dancing to actually fighting competitively?
Life knocked me down, and I struggled with a lot of anger issues earlier on in my life growing up. I can't begin to tell you how much I fantasized about fighting. So once mixed martial arts hit the scene, because I always paid attention to combat sports. Growing up, boxing, of course, and I just couldn't see myself doing something so one-dimensional as boxing, where it's just using your hands. There's a lot more to boxing than hands, but I know that now. But before, it just wasn't enough for me. I needed to be the ability to do everything, and then I put my mind in a mindset of real life situations, and I'm looking at action movies like, is this really possible? What makes this possible? What makes this work? What makes this not work? And trying to be just all of that and wrapped in one. And life, like I said, life got hard, and the desire and the fire in me grew and grew, and it grew to the point where I kind of let a lot of opportunities slide out of fear, and I felt like I had to take on something that scared me, that feared me. I had to overcome the fear. I had to start attacking life, and at that point in my life, fighting it finally became an option. I had a place to train, and I got into it. I got into it more comfortably because of the martial art that I actually did partake in before mixed martial arts, which was capoeira. That got me even more comfortable, in the realization of a real fight. We really went hard and had to really develop real reaction time, or what looked like a dance move, which was actually a kick, would have been a kick in the face. So playing that and really getting into the roots of that and being surrounded by so many Brazilians, I got immediately into jiu-jitsu. That took me right into MMA. I was so fascinated by the sport at the time, watching it and from play fighting and doing so much with my friends. Like I said, I reached a point in life where it was like, I want to give this a shot. I want to try. I want to step into the cage and see what this feels like. And that was immediately after I got into training jiu-jitsu. It was like I got comfortable with jiu-jitsu, and I immediately was like, I want to fight. I want to know it. I want to test this now. I don't want to train this for 5 years and then figure it, I don't want to waste that type of time. I want to see what the real deal feels like now. I was in my mid-20s. I was in my mid to late 20s at the time, so I knew I felt like I was late getting in on it. So I'm like, let's get after this. Let's see where this goes. And like I said, at that time in my life, I was going through a lot of rough stuff, so I was full of fire.
Now, am I correct that you fought Muay Thai for a little bit?
I did one Muay Thai match, broke a toe, won the fight, and then I got right back into MMA. I got right back on the horse. I wanted to fight professionally at mixed martial arts. I knew that it was at the time. It was more of my interest. I'm in love with Muay Thai, just like I love every other discipline. But I'm taken by striking, and I wanted to develop and get comfortable and better at it. So I did a Muay Thai fight as well as a boxing bout. I tried to rack up as much experience as possible. I really only have a good 2 years of mixed martial arts real experience. In my first year, I did 6 MMA fights, and a boxing match, a Muay Thai fight, and a ton of tournaments, because I knew I was late getting in on. I was late for this, and looking up fights and trying fight flying. A lot of people had a lot of experience, wrestling experience, boxing experience. There was a ton of experienced people out there doing this, and I wanted to just get out there and start getting competition experience alone. So that was my trial and error.
Now, when did you hook up with Brazen boxing and MMA? Was that from the very start, or did that come a little bit later on? It came. I can't say later, because it's really where all my experience lies. I had only a good 6 to 9 months
I would say, off and on jiu-jitsu and MMA training. And that's when things, like I said, things were falling apart. I got into that. It kept me sane. That fell apart, and I moved away, tried to pursue some other things. That didn't work out. I moved back home with an even bigger chip on my shoulder, and Brazen just saved my life, man. They came at a time where all I wanted to do was fight, and I had nothing else on my plate to do. And they offered me just all opportunities. They weren't even open and in business yet, and Jason found me on Facebook, said he was going to have a gym open soon. I said, I'm not doing nothing. If however I can help, I'll help. And we've been family ever since that day. We've been inseparable for the last since we've been in business since 2011.
Wow. So you make the decision, you're going to go do mixed martial arts, and you start your amateur career. It looks like you've had about 6 amateur fights, and it looks like a rather up and down road. What do you attribute to that? Was it just inexperience, or were you lacking something in the skills set that you needed before you went pro?
For the most part, it was inexperience, and then it was just I had too much natural ability. I didn't have any. My coaches were having a hard time. Getting through a hard head kid, number one, and then really finding a way for me to best structure my abilities. So it took a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, and it did take a lot of trial and error. I needed to go through all of those experiences to really know if this is what I want to do, to really prepare myself, and just being in the atmosphere that we built at Brazen and helping fighters that were had experience and doing it at the time. It was all I feel it was just all an experience that I desperately needed. I needed all of that experience, and it got to a point where I finally started to get everything that they were trying to teach me as a whole. And it just came from just being a student nonstop. I sponged everything from every person that stepped foot in that gym to every fight I ever watched, to just watching footage over and over, really looking at fights differently, just being so analytical of it, and then really being self-actualized and listening to my coaches, and then watching myself. At one point I'm being relied on now as a coach, from other fighters. My vision and everything had to increase. My IQ had to increase, and it did. And once it started to make sense to me for them. Now when I look in the mirror, it started to make sense to me for me, and I understood even more what my coaches were trying to say, and that's when it all started to piece together, and I knew that I was done fighting as an amateur. I had it in my head mentally, and the work ethic was there, and we were ready to make that jump. So
when you did make that jump, that was, of course, less than a year ago at this point, and that was April 13th, 2013, Locked in the Cage 15, and you won by a devastating kick right to the face. It looked like you kind of lost your balance, kind of slipped, but you still had enough power on it.
That's what happens when you throw it without the best of techniques, but you throw everything into it. And I did. I saw a gleaming opportunity that I knew wouldn't be there for long, and I went for it. I lost my balance, but I got the finish.
Yeah, definitely. But how satisfying was that, your first pro fight after the up and down amateur? Yeah, how was it?
Man, I honestly, out of everything, that is still the biggest. That's still the biggest to me, just because I was so doubted, I was so looked down upon. I was, I think I've been pretty much the underdog every fight I've been in to this point. Even now, but at that point it meant the world, because I knew I never respected amateur mixed martial arts. I knew it. I don't dig the rules. I don't. For the Pennsylvania area, it just doesn't make sense to me, and it never did for anyone who truly aspires to fight professionally. The gaps are far too wide. So I trained everything professionally at the gym, which is why I threw a lot of caution to the wind in amateur fights. Being stupid, being ignorant, looking for knockouts, and not sticking to techniques and et cetera, and conditioning and those things. But yeah, man, that was probably one of the best nights of my life to date, was to go in there and actually finish my first what I respected and called, that was the real thing. I made the jump. With all the odds stacked against me, and I did it. I did it big too. First round, I would have. I didn't see the fight going that way at all. I was ready to give my life in there to get a win, and it came at such ease, and I can't do nothing but contribute that to the way I've been trained, the way I've been pushed, and the people around me who provided those opportunities for me to do so and push me to do so. And that's why we stick to the script. We live in the gym, and we train hard and we train smart. There's a big difference. Some people don't.
What was the opening? Was it after you went for the spinning back fist? Was that the opening, or was there something else that maybe I didn't see for that
I fainted. I went, I believe it was an inside leg kick I hit him with first. And earlier on, I noticed he was lowering that hand as he flinched to his right. His hand would drop. So I didn't want to just make it all obvious and throw it right there, I wanted to set it up. So I threw one kick to the leg. I saw him go for it. I set it up like I was going to throw another kick. I just brought it up a little higher that time, and it landed right smack. He leaned into the kick. Paying attention to where guys' heads moving is, it's key, part of my game.
Yeah, definitely. Now, about 2 months later, you're back in there. You get another first-round TKO. How's that one go for you?
Oh, that was exhilarating. That was thrilling, because I was expecting a pretty tough fight, and I just remember I was really pumped for that fight, and I got able to really do more than just kick him to finish him. My pro debut, we were rushed out there. It was really out of order. I didn't even get to warm up. So I went in that cage cold and was like, let's just take your time, don't freak out. And this fight, that second fight, I got warmed up really well. I was really amped to go, and I really got a chance to let loose. That's what I like to do. I really like that, and that's what took me so long. That's what took me time to hone, was that control, like the control thing, the patience, that temperament. I'm like, he hit me. I have to kill him now. It's like, no, dude. If you were able to take the hit, keep on moving, keep going with it. This time I was able to. I got a chance to open up and really, let it go on this guy, and I found that, and I got to finish off of it early on. It felt amazing.
The following fight you took on very short notice. It looks like about 2 weeks later. It's against Reggie Merriweather. How do you feel about that fight? We talked a little bit about it previously off air, but how do you feel about that fight? You did come out with a decision win, but just rate your performance in that one.
It was terrible, in my opinion. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm a realist. I'm human. Every now and then I break down and cut myself a break every now and then, but I was extremely disappointed in that performance. Even though it was 2 weeks' notice. I was disappointed in that performance for a lot of reasons. I was being hard-headed, and I messed up my weight cut. That's you don't. I have a coach for a reason, and he orchestrated things to be the way they are, so that way things won't happen. And me being an idiot, I didn't follow procedure to the T, and my condition and suffer for it. And that I feel like that really took. I feel like that stopped me from getting the finish in that fight, only because I was really out of it. I was just warming up. I felt bad, so I knew it was going to be. I just wasn't myself, and there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse when you train as much as I do, and you perform daily, so you begin to learn how to adapt to your good days and your bad days, and et cetera, and so on. There's nothing worse than getting into that cage and not being on. I can deal with losing had this guy bested me, had I been, as long as I was myself. There's going to be a bigger, better guy. That's life. But when you go out there and you make mistakes, and when you cause that, that's how I look at it. It's very disappointing. Thank God I still got the win. I would have been extremely miserable had I lost. But yeah, I was very, very disappointed with that performance. I went back to the gym immediately and punished myself. Wow. But like I said, I got the win on short notice. I'm not as hung up on it as I am. I don't want to sound like it still bothers me. It doesn't. I took the fight on short notice. The kid was tough as nails, and I don't want to take that away from him. He was tough. What can I say? I had him rocked all over the place, and he hung in there. I'm not taking anything from Reggie. He's a good kid. But I wasn't myself that day, and I have myself to blame for that.
Yeah. Well, you came back in October, and I'm guessing you were more like yourself because you got a head kick win in 23 seconds of the first round. What was your thinking going into that fight, and how did you feel coming back off of that disappointing performance in your previous fight?
I felt amazing. That was the best I felt ever walking into a fight. I can't explain it. I've never felt calmer, more relaxed, worry-free, ready to fight and have fun. And I wouldn't have predicted that at all. The guy was 3-1 with 3 finishes. I was expecting some grappling, and he came out trying to knock me out. So, I slowed down because I started to get. I felt myself, starting to respond to his pressure instead of keeping my cool. And the minute I calmed down, I saw him lean hard, and I threw that kick out there, man, and he ran right into it, and that was all she wrote. It's still surreal. I have to watch the video at least once a day just to know I did that, because it happened. So, man, like I said, it happened so fast. Everybody's like, one of my coaches was saying something about doing something. I'm like, Coach, it was 23 seconds, 15 minutes. I'm expecting the possibility of 15 minutes of fight, and I'm never walking into a fight and going hard in the first 23 seconds. I need to fill this thing out, move around, get loose. And homeboy tried to knock my head off. So luckily, we trained hard and trained smart, and, I deal with that type of pressure, and I'm able to react, and I'm able to do what I did.
Well, since that time, you've now signed with Cage Fury Fighting Championships for a 4-fight deal.
Yes.
What's drawing you to why Cage Fury, and what's drawing you there?
It's one of the best promotions I've ever had the opportunity of just being in attendance in. Period. They put on an outstanding show. They have solid guys, solid competition, and it's a stellar show. It's in the New Jersey area. I'm from New Jersey. I have yet to fight in New Jersey, and I really felt like it was a great opportunity to actually really start to help grow my brand, grow my name, be able to fill some seats and get people on board. I've decided to really do this, and if I'm going to do that, I need to be able to sell a ticket. At the end of the day, it's business, it's show business, and regardless of how good you can fight, if you can't sell a ticket, you're not really that marketable to any promotion. So, with that in mind, I wanted some credit too. I'm like, man, I guess I'm getting pretty good. I think I should go ahead and start trying to, really do this, because up until then, I was just taking fights every and anywhere and ready to travel and do the damn thing. And it's like, that time, a lot of my friends and family and people who know me started to catch women, pay attention, and a lot of people were reaching out about wanting the sport. And I knew that, the best and easiest way to do that would be to fight 40 minutes away from where my home, it's Atlantic City. I'm from Sicklerville, New Jersey. All my people are in the area now. I have a ton of people from Brazen and Philadelphia and Pennsylvania to come to follow. So I thought it was a great move to help develop me that much more.
So your first fight is against 4-1 Donald Uten. What do you know about him, and what's your game plan heading into this fight?
I know Donnie. We've trained together a little bit. He's a solid wrestler. He's got great wrestling. He's a scrappy guy. He's got good MMA knowledge. He's got more experience than me, like everybody I've ever fought. But he's just another human being. He's just another person that I'm not afraid to fight, and it's just business. So game plan is to actually give my fans a little bit more time to enjoy watching me fight. So, I'm going to, I look forward to a fight, like a real fight, and I don't want to give away our game plan, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Is there a different type of game plan going into this? Your first fight on this promotion?
It's my first time in a cage this big, so I look to enjoy that. I look forward to moving around, enjoying the cage, taking up some space.
Okay. Now, obviously, Brazen boxing and MMA is a huge part of your life. Just go into that for a little bit. Let people know more about Brazen boxing and MMA.
Oh man, we are a very unique group of people. As different as we all are, as different of lives that we all come from, something about all of us resonates on one accord, and I don't know how, but we all just bond so well together, and I think it's it's definitely our passion and love for mixed martial arts, for the arts in general, our love for boxing and for all those things. But it's also our compassion for people, because we gravitated towards each other, all looking to help, like, oh, you're helping me, I have to help you, I want to help you. It's something that comes naturally to all of us, and that's really how we've grown so well, so fast. People pick that up, you're not. Our gym isn't full of it's not full of egotistical, tough guys, and it's an environment that you can come in and have a very intellectual conversation about almost anything, and then you can have a very inappropriate and laughable and enjoyable conversation about anything, and not feel offended or be mistreated in any type of way. We're also very brazen. We are very true to the name, and we're very defensive and protective of each other, So some people get rubbed the wrong way by us because we're extremely defensive of one another. That's our fighting nature and spirit. We're all natural protectors, and that's what really bonds us as a team. As a business, we conduct ourselves the same way, very professional, very in tune with our members and our clients, and making sure they're getting the best, education on whatever discipline they're paying for that they can. We've all, when we got into the gym business, we all put our minds together and said, what do we, through our experience, what do we like the most? What do we dislike the most? So what do we want our gyms, What do we want our place to be? You know, I don't even like calling our place a gym. It's a training facility to me. And so, you know, like I said, we put our heads together, and that's the formula that we came up with, you know, a real family-like type environment for people who are really passionate about getting better at what they're trying to do, get a goal and get to it. People who are serious about it, and that's you know, those type of people we love, and we push everybody, you know, just give them a little push. Everybody needs a little push, you know. We know everybody's limit's the same. I'm not expecting, you know, any random member to be pushed to the limit that I'm being pushed as a professional fighter, but you're still going to get a nudge to do better than what you did last time. And we're a professional fight school, so you're going to learn real techniques. You know, that's just that. We're not going to give you any, I'm not going to teach you anything that my coach didn't teach me or teach you something I've seen in a movie. I'm going to teach you some real stuff. And, you know, hopefully you enjoy it. And you're still going to get a great workout. You're still going to enjoy yourself and have a good time. And that's, you know, that's just a little bit of, you know, of Brazen, pretty much.
Okay, Anthony, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you think you'll still be fighting, or are you going to be coaching and running the Brazen MMA gym?
Well, I'm definitely going to be a part of Brazen. Fighting, you know, I don't really set goals that far ahead. This is one tough sport, and I take it one fight at a time. You know, people are like, well, when's your next one? I'm sorry I can't make this one. It's like, hey, I'm about to get into a fight where I could possibly get kneed in the face. I don't make plans for the next one. I'm focusing on this one, okay? Let me focus on this one first. But, you know, that's, you know, the fire's in me, and I'm doing better than I expected to do. So, you know, in 5 years, I know I'll be successful outside of the cage. But God willing, healthy, still going strong. In 5 years, I plan on being in the UFC somewhere. You know, in 5 years, there's no way I'll still be doing this without making six figures, and that's just that. This is not the sport to be. This is just not that type of sport, man. It's a sport, yeah, you know, but you know, it's not a game. It's not a football game. It's not a basketball game. You know, it's real. It's the real thing, and to be successful at it, you have to live a certain lifestyle, and I've solely committed to that lifestyle. And I'm not going to say it's an easy one because it's not, but that makes the rewards of and the perks of winning and uplifting people and inspiring others and everything, all these little things that have been real rewards for me that I never saw coming. You know, the things people say to me, the way people look at me, I've been having a hard time adjust to. I'm like, you know, I don't see what I've done as being something surreal. You know, I have big dreams. I have really big dreams. You know, I have a ton of dreams before I got into MMA, and I haven't let any of them go. So I keep my eyes on the prize, and I stay focused. And you know, so it's hard to see what all of I've you know, what people feel as though I've accomplished, but I don't really feel as though I have time to stop and look, because I've seen success, and it comes from just doing, you know, just doing things that I didn't think I could do. I wasn't able to, I felt like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. You know what? I don't have time to think about it. I'm just going to do it. And that is where, you know, that's where our gym success has came from. And all the hardships that we went through, all the things that I've been through in life, and knowing that, you know, keep pushing on and not dwelling on things and to keep fighting through stuff is where you wake up one day like, oh, whoa, I made it somewhere. And, you know, when it's somewhere you can really look back, and when you're at that place when you can start to take care of people, that's my main goal. You know, when I get to that place is when I'll stop and smell the roses. But meantime, I got a long list of things that I'm trying to do, and being in the UFC is one of them. So I'm staying the course right now, and I'm enjoying it, fight by fight, by camp, day by day. Nothing tomorrow is promised. So I try to maximize every day that I can.
Wow. After that, I am inspired. That is one heck of a speech. Thank you for that. Now, what I want to give you the opportunity to do is go ahead and plug Brazen Boxing and MMA, address, phone number, if people are interested to go there, meet you, maybe train with you. This week's probably not a good week to do so, but maybe starting next week, they can get in there with you and maybe roll around, who knows, but just go ahead and let people know where they can find Brazen Boxing and MMA on the internet, and phone numbers and whatever you wanted to give out.
Oh, with pleasure, with pleasure. BrazenBoxing.com. That's BRAZEN Boxing, BOXING.com. You look that up, you will find everything, including our address, 45 North 3rd Street, Philadelphia, PA. We're in the heart of Old City. We're on the 3rd floor of a Sweat Fitness gym, directly on your right-hand side between Market and Arch. You can't miss us. There's Brazen stuff everywhere. 3rd floor, Brazen Boxing and MMA. Come on up, try a class, come hang out. We're a fun-loving group of people. If you have in any way, shape, or form, any passion in you to compete, by all means. If you mean business and you're serious, because we will call you out on it if you're not serious, because we're not going to waste our time, and we're not going to waste yours. We're going to be upfront with you. We're going to be honest with you, and we'll help you as much as you are willing to help yourself. So, Brazen Boxing, we are on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can look us up, Brazen Boxing and MMA. Like I said, we're open 7 days a week, including Sundays. We also conduct a free women's jiu-jitsu class on Sundays, soon to be free women's jiu-jitsu and self-defense. Please, by all means, come in. We take that very seriously. We're very serious about protecting our women, and we believe that all women should have a serious amount of some jiu-jitsu and self-defense knowledge. So that's why we opt to offer a free introduction to jiu-jitsu on Sundays. Any former competitors, any people contemplating competing, even regular. If you're looking to get in shape, our classes alone will do that for you. Our regimen alone, we can, everybody, all of our coaches do personal training as well as I. If any kids out there, kid athlete prospects in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't matter what sport, tennis, basketball, football, if you're a high-level high school player, college, whatever, Sargus Strength Systems will get you better as a athlete, period. As a combat athlete, it'll make you better exceptionally. It'll put you through the roof. That's my coach's specialty. Sargus Strength Systems is his own brand of strength and conditioning. He's the strength conditioning coach of world-class boxers such as Gabriel Rosado, a ton of Olympians, up-and-coming, future world champs, my strength and conditioning coach, every professional fighter that's ever stepped out of our gym, to kids that are playing college and improving. Trust me, Jason Sargus, look him up, Sargus Strength Systems. That he's also on Facebook, he's also on Twitter. And we're here to serve. We want to help. We want to help uplift. We want to help bring people together. We want to get people away from the nonsense in this world, live healthier, happier lives, while competing and fighting. Doing something constructive with our primitive side. Because let's be real. I mean, fighting is an innate, natural thing that we are drawn to, and we all should have some fight within us, if not at least some ability to defend ourselves or just be in better shape. It promotes better mental health and less stress. It does all these things. It does a wondrous amount of things for you that people really could use some exposure to, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're looking to promote amongst many other things. So by all means, you can catch me on Instagram. You can follow me at RudeBoyRel7. I'm on Facebook. I have a fan page, Anthony Terrell. You can also friend me. I'm pretty much friend with anybody. I'm always looking to network and do business and branch off. I'm always looking for something new to do and expand in some way, bring some people into our world as well as get into theirs. That's, community. And Brazen Sports Agency, my management company. Any fighters out there unsigned looking to get into, looking to get some management? Let's be real. This is it's a serious business, and you need management that you can trust. And I honestly wouldn't fight under anybody else other than Brazen Sports Agency, just from being exposed to the game that's played behind the scenes of the fight game. That's the game. That's the only game part of this fighting thing that we do. It's all the politics, and you need good representation and good management for that. People who really care about you and not your dimes. And that's us, Jessica Richmond. That's my team, and I vouch for these people. I'll put my money up for these people. I'll put my life up for these people. I'm not talking out my rear end. I don't waste my breath and do all this any other time. I wouldn't do it if I wasn't on the radio right now, because these are people I hold near and dear to my heart because of how they conduct themselves personally with me and professionally with me. So only when I meet people who are serious about doing something will I introduce them to them, because I won't have their time wasted. So please, by all means, if you are serious and you are interested in any of the things I just touched on, look us up.
Wow. You're good at this. I'll tell you that much. Now, Anthony, I do want to say good luck coming up on Friday. Of course, Cage Fury Fighting Championships is Friday at the Borgata in New York City.
It's Saturday.
Oh, is it Saturday?
Yeah.
I get so confused with all these Fridays, Saturday, but it's Saturday, so make sure you make it out there. On Saturday. And it's going to be it looks like a great card. I'll just put it that way. But
definitely.
Anthony, thank you so much, and I look to talk again with you.
Most definitely, man. I'd like to really give you guys a special shout-out. I really appreciate you reaching out to me. I can't thank you guys enough for letting me run my mouth, which I never do. But I appreciate it. I would also like to just thank my sponsors, Class Act Auto Repair, Barber Extraordinaire, Statement Originals, Oracle Protection Services. I really appreciate the support that all these people have given me to this point. It's a tough thing that we do, and without that support and help, it would make it that much harder, and for some it would be impossible. So other than those guys, just my family and friends, my mother, my sisters, the people who I don't see enough, who always have my best interest. I love them with all my heart. I love all my people at Brazen, because without that team, I couldn't do what I'm doing. And I just want to thank you guys again for giving me this time to shout out. Also, CFFC, Rob HIAC, thank you guys for signing me and giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Very humble, considering how much talent you have. But thank you again, and I will be reaching out for a follow-up once the next fight's signed, because you're great. I'm just going to say that. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much.